Okay.
Hello.
Okay, yes. So thank you all for being here today. I just want to introduce the county and school side here, representatives that we have here. So I am Elizabeth Matlock. I'm assistant to the deputy county managers, and I'm helping to run this program with Patrick Leonard. Do you want to introduce yourself, Patrick?
Yes, good afternoon. Patrick Leonard, Senior Teen Coordinator, Parks and Recreation.
And then from the schools, we have Julie Crawford.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I am with the Department of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Student Support, and have been working in partnership with the county. And pleased to have my colleague, Tony Hall.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Tony Hall, Director of Extended Day here in Arlington Public Schools.
So we are very excited to offer this funding opportunity, and thank you all for being here. We're going to just go over a short presentation that covers some of the bases for this funding opportunity, and then we will take any questions and answers. So I will share the presentation, Patrick, if that works.
Sounds great. Thanks. All right. Well, again, thank you all for joining. Again, this is to talk about the notice of funding availability for the after-school programming. So the background on the funding is the County Board allocated $2 million one-time funding in FY25 to support multi-year pilots for the after-school program. As part of the last budget guidance, up to $550,000 in one-time funding from Arlington County was made available to run support middle and high school youth by implementing a 2-year pilot of after-school programming at 1 or more sites. Next slide. So when we talk about the sites, the locations.
What? Nobody in this. They probably still at the museum.
Apologies. So when we talk about the locations, secondary schools that meet the eligibility standard for free and reduced lunch is Kenmore Middle, Wakefield High School. Another location for the programming could be Arlington Mill Community Center. There will be 2 classrooms made available at the Mill with a capacity of 25 youth each. The county and APS will work with grantees to secure designated space for the program at school sites. The grantee is required to sign any facility use agreement between grantee and the appropriate party. Proposals that you submit should consider capacity and limitations while proposing the your program. Next slide. So the timeline for the proposals, it is open right now through Submittable. The link is in the presentation as well as online. It will close at 11:59 p.m. on Sunday, August 17th. FAQs will be posted soon after this meeting and as questions come in. And we are looking for a tentative award date of October 2025. The budget guidance says that the program must start in the first semester of this upcoming school year. And again, the grant period is 2 years, covering this school year, this upcoming school year, and the following school year. I'll turn it over to Elizabeth. You're muted, Elizabeth.
Thank you. So the application consists of several questions, which again, like Patrick mentioned, you'll find it on Submittable. You can go to the county webpage, like Patrick said, it's linked in this presentation, which we'll share. But you can also go to the county webpage and just search in the search bar After School Programming NOFA, and it will come up. And if you have issues with Submittable, please reach out to us. But in Submittable, you'll be able to answer the questions that deal with the program description. So we ask you to describe the program that you're proposing and the physical space that you'll need. We ask you to describe the anticipated youth population that you'll be serving and how you will market and recruit for this. we ask you to describe the needs and inequities that you're addressing, including how your proposal works to try to reduce barriers that youth may experience in participation. And then we also ask for a sample monthly schedule. Then we have a set of questions on your readiness. So that's asking you for your implementation timeline. What's your organizational experience and capacity in doing this type of work? What partnerships will you use or do you need, including partnerships with the schools? And then what your budget is. And then finally, we have a couple of questions on the projected impact. So how would you define success? What does success look like and how will you measure it? What data will you collect to define success, and how will you then use that data and analyze it? So the evaluation process, once proposals are due, they'll be evaluated by a review panel, which will consist of representatives from various Arlington County departments and Arlington Public Schools. The reviewers will independently review each proposal, and then using the rubric, which you can find at the end of the application PDF, which is on our website. And then the independent scores will be used as a basis for discussion and award recommendations from the review panel to the county board. So I mentioned that the reviewers will be using a rubric. This is a screenshot of what that rubric looks like. Again, it's at the bottom. There's a PDF version of the application, and it's at that bottom of that PDF version. So the rubric goes question by question, and each question is rated from a 1 to 5. And where a 1 is like you're really not answering the question. A 3 is you've answered the question in a decent way. And a 5 is really looking at an exceptional answer. So like when you're describing your proposed program, a 1 is it's unclear, it's vague. It's not really connected to any needs that you've identified. A 2 is like a basic list. A 3 is you've described it, good job. A 4 is it's very described, it clearly addresses needs. And then a 5 is just it's a really exceptionally thorough description. It's cohesive, it's strategic, it really connects to the needs that you've identified. And so we have those descriptions of 1 to 5 for each question in the application. And we highly recommend that you reference the rubric as you are writing. So then we're looking to award likely 1 to 2 proposals, given the amount of funding we have and the fact that it's going to be for 2 years. So if awarded, the grantee will have to document their safety and security procedures, proof of insurance, and the facility space agreement that Patrick mentioned earlier. The grantees will have to sign a grant agreement, sign the space use agreement. They'll have to be up to date on a county business license, if applicable. So if you have, the general rule of thumb is that if you're a nonprofit who operates in Arlington, who has a physical space in Arlington County, you need a county business license, generally speaking. So we check to make sure you're up to date on that. And again, we anticipate that the start date will be late fall, early winter of 2025. And then we plan on dispersing the funding up front on a semester basis. So you'll get the funding a quarter of your award up front each quarter for the 4 quarters that you'll be providing the service. I mean, the semesters, 4 semesters that you'll be providing the service. And then there will be regular programmatic and financial reporting, including a site visit each semester. And so that was a very basic overview of the application and the process and what it will look like. But we really wanted to leave time, plenty of time for questions and answers. So I am going to stop sharing and happy to take any questions that you guys have. I see a question. Yes, slides will be available in the chat. Thanks for answering that, Patrick.
Christy.
Yeah, hi, this is Christy with Aspire. I was curious, beyond the rubric, what does a successful application look like to you in terms of an organization's goals? Is it, you know, how we're working with the students, what the programming is, or is it the kind of space, variety of offerings? Is there something you all are looking for in particular?
I think we left it purposefully broad to, you know, cast a wide net for that process. I'll let schools also jump in if they have, and Elizabeth as well. I think that you're looking at, you know, a holistic approach to after-school programming. But again, we didn't want to limit it. So if you have a really great program that is niche, you know, obviously we want to make sure it's available for that. But other than what is in the rubric, I wouldn't say that there's anything in particular that we're looking for. Julie, Tony, Elizabeth?
Just echo that. I think adherence to the rubric and specification on any programming that you have helps inform the committee.
Thank you.
Okay. Tom.
Hello, everyone. Thank you. I appreciate your time here. I know you talk about the semester and semester-based programming with this. Are you also looking for programming that may extend, since it's after-school programming, also programming that may extend in the weekend and or the breaks between school, spring, fall, spring, winter, or summer breaks?
You want me to answer that? That is, when we did programming this year, it was not limited to just the after-school time in support of the students, since many of you who are on the call know that, you know, your wraparound may go beyond that. I would certainly include that if that's an aspect of your program.
And if I may ask a follow-up on the sample of the monthly schedule, sometimes programming is a little bit seasonal, like Phoenix Bikes, some of our stuff changes because you're not always riding in the winter or doing some of those things. Would you like to be able to see more information, more extensive kind of sample schedule for things that may shift or adjust with season, or is just one sample month enough?
We understand that schedules can change to your point based on seasonality, and of course, like, it is just a sample schedule. So it would be your ideal month wherever you're, you know, showing the most robust programming, whatever works for your organization.
I think something that paints a picture of what's representative of what you'll bring.
Okay. Thank you.
And for those that for some reason might not be able to ask the question out loud or raise their hand because of functionality of Teams, feel free to put any questions in the chat. I see one from Hannah here. It says, will we need to provide the service at Arlington Mill as well as one or more schools, or are we able to focus on one site for the 2 years? Whichever proposal, I mean, it is left open broadly. We are not asking for necessarily to be able to serve all 3 sites or, you know, multiple sites. So it's whatever your proposal is. If it is for one school, then, you know, great. If it's for multiple ones, also great. So it's really up to your proposal.
Hi there. This is Chris Smith from Arlington Soccer. We have a number of programs that we're running at this point that I think could align to the offering and the funding at this point. Would it make sense for us to try to broadly describe that in one application, or would you rather see a series of applications on a program by program basis? What would make it easiest for you guys, and what would be consistent with your expectations?
Elizabeth, I think you've done more of those, but I would say, and Julie, if you want to jump in too, I mean, my understanding would be that it'd be per organization. Julie, is that your understanding as well?
That's what I was going to say too, that I think you can detail within the different offerings, but Elizabeth, correct me. That's what I've done previously. Correct me if you've done anything different, Elizabeth.
Yep, that sounds good.
And so, sorry, just as a quick follow-up. So maybe we just pick the program that most closely aligns with this opportunity and go with that one?
Yes.
You can do that. And if you, like I said, if you have other programs that you want to be considered, I think you can briefly describe those.
Okay. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that.
Bree, you've asked to show the rubric again. Screenshot the rubric. If you're having a hard time accessing it online, the link in the chat will have the entire rubric, not just the one section. It is located on the bottom of the application slide, or excuse me, the background slide on the page website. Christy.
Yes, thank you. I had another question around space site usage. So we are already located in Arlington Mill, and I see that there is the space of 2 classrooms available. I guess, is there a minimum, sort of multiple questions around this, but is there a minimum number of students that you're looking for the different grant proposals to serve? And then are we required, if we're not going to be based in a school, are we required to use those 2 classrooms that are in Arlington Mill, or are they just there if you need them?
The classrooms are there if you need them. And you're not required, yeah, the classrooms are there available if you need them. And there's, to answer, I think the first part of your question was about, is there a minimum number? There's not a minimum number. However, obviously we would like the funding to serve as many youth as possible, given the space, given any space constraints.
Great,
Working
thank you.
Spaces. Yep. Sarah asks in the chat, how many organizations are expecting to award grants to? 1 or 2.
It does depend on the proposals we receive, though, and what we're finding.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any other questions?
I have another one around funding and distribution of funds. Since the, so for programs that do receive the award, the county board that will approve the grant basically is going to be in October, and then there's going to be at least that 2-week process to approve the security procedures. Grant award notifications need to be sent out, signed. All of that takes time. So my guess is realistically, if we're lucky, that's all done by November 15th-ish or Thanksgiving. And since you want the programming to start in the fall, I guess kind of what are your expectations for that first semester? Can we, if we are having staff working on the program and are starting to prep for it, can we use, like, say, September salaries to be part of like what's invoiced in that first semester? How will all of that work? Hopefully that makes sense out loud.
So we do recognize the time crunch, and others might want to jump in as well, recognizing that the grant award process does take time as well. So I think we would, like you noted, it would take, like, it wouldn't be till November really before you would get money. So I think we have done grants where we have covered expenses that occurred to support the grant program before the grant period actually starts. You would just have to clearly tie it to the grant program. but I think also we would be placing a high priority on getting this started on our end, at least as fast as we can, with getting you the funding and getting the paperwork done. So it's not like the race grant where we kind of we have like months in between the award announcement and the getting the funding. So we'll work together to try to get this off the ground as quickly as possible.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Ellie Odell asked if we have a smaller scale program, this might not be the best opportunity. And I think that really kind of depends on the applications you receive and what you're offering. Like if it's a smaller scale program and it has a smaller budget, but it has a high impact, then it might still be a good opportunity for us to see, but others could add.
I agree. I think as smaller programs are successful, I wouldn't limit your application if you feel that, you know, you're smaller in size, but that's just my 2 cents.
And then how does the program work if the neighborhood school has an extended day and after school programming? Julie, do you want to weigh in on that one?
Sure. Yeah, very good question. We do have a population of students, of course, that attend extended day, and then all of our schools have varying after-school programs, clubs, some depending on the level, athletics. And so this supplements the offerings that are at the schools. It does not supplant what is there. So we are looking to add to, and in some opportunities, you know, collaborate with the existing programming that's there.
I would agree with Julie in that there are multiple needs in the APS community with our kids, and I think that if a school already has, just as a former principal at WNL, there were multiple programs after school that served a myriad of our students. So it's about making sure that the program again is robust, and like I said, it's there to capture the interests of students who the current programs may or may not serve for a variant of reasons. So the more the merrier, I would say.
Are there any other questions?
All right, I don't think there.
Yeah, I don't think there are any others. I dropped my email address in the chat. If you have any questions later, you can feel free to email, and Patrick and I can answer. And thank you all for being here, and we look forward to seeing what ideas you have.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.